This is the first time in my life that I will not be able to vote. Good afternoon, how are you? Are you registered to vote?
Yes.
Would you also be willing to support signing a petition to help others get their voting rights restored? My name is Roderick Kemp. I'm a divorced father of 3 adult children, and I'm also a grandfather with 2 grandchildren. All right, that enough? When I was a little kid, we kind of bounced around a little, but I was born in Detroit, Michigan. Hold my hand. Where both sides of my family are from. When I moved here, it just seems like it was 10 years behind or 15 years behind.
I want you to meet somebody who is actually out here, who's fighting for this, and who has a bigger voice than me. Mr. Kemp, would you come forward, please, and tell us your story?
Thank you. Hi, everybody. How are you doing today? Hi. Great. When Obama first ran for office, a lot of people that I knew were immediately involved, and I just wanted to jump in. Let me tell you something, people. Every single election counts. I've been totally involved in the political process, and I raised a ton of money for Obama. I got involved with fundraisers, volunteering, and then it just snowballed from there. It just seemed natural to me. In the most recent governor's election, I ran a field office for the Charlie Crist campaign. I was actually on salary with the Florida Democratic Party. After Rick Scott got reelected, I got a letter in the mail last summer that said, your voting rights have been revoked. It took a minute for it to sink in because I was like, wait a minute, this must be a mistake because, you know, I know the process. I've been the one out recruiting people and doing voter registration drives. So how could this happen to me? I've been voting for 32 years. Immediately, what happened 32 years ago came rushing to the forefront of my mind. And I was like, but if that wasn't an issue then, why is it an issue now?
Hundreds of thousands of people shut out from the polls.
Florida leads the nation in denying the right to vote to one specific group, felons.
Since Governor Rick Scott took office, the number of felons getting their rights back after serving their time has plummeted. Does this concern you that there's so many felons out there who've paid their debt to society and still can't vote?
Well, we try to make sure that people have the opportunity to vote. I want everybody to vote, but you know, let's follow the law and make sure when people get out of prison, when they've served their time, they get back and become a member of society first.
But this has become substantially more difficult since you took office. There are fewer people voting that are convicted felons that have paid their debts.
Let's look at how many people are voting. We have plenty of turnout.
As for who this impacts, 13% of all African-American men have lost their right to vote. That is 7 times the national average.
You know, I was much younger and carefree, and I was a recreational user of drugs. And, you know, I made a careless mistake. And I'm not gonna be able to vote. I'm like an anonymous person. It just seems unfair. I thought that once I served my time, I paid my debt to society. The majority of disenfranchised voters are African American.
So you mean to tell me you're eligible to pay your taxes and you pay your taxes, but you're not eligible to vote?
Exactly.
Does this make sense to you?
No, of course not.
I don't think it should make sense to them either.
It's just a modern day form of a Jim Crow law. If they had to go back 32 years to find mine.
That's a long time, bro.
It impacts our community more than it impacts other communities.
Oh, yeah. See ya.
They probably went through the records as a, let's say, a form of voter suppression.
Normally when this happens, of course, it's Republicans who are in charge.
How long does it take before they can get their voting rights?
You want to know the answer to that right now?
Yes.
It takes between 7 to 14 years plus. Because whenever you call, guess what they tell you? Call back next year. Call back next year. Call back next year.
I often wonder when I'm going to get the right to vote back. And right now, I do not know the answer. I am not going to be somebody that's going to be satisfied and wait around for it to take the 5 to 7 years that they told me. And I can tell you, I intend to get my voting rights back.
This is the Office of Executive Clemency. How may I help you?
Yeah, my name is Roderick Kemp. I had sent in a application asking for clemency, and I wanted to know what the status is.
It went to investigation September 4th of 2015. It is still pending. Your full pardon is pending. So once an investigator gets to your full pardon, you'll be notified. And when a decision is made on your restoration of civil rights, you'll be notified, okay?
Okay. How long will both of those processes take?
Unfortunately, there's no way to know on either because we don't have a time frame. We're unable to provide a time frame, and due to the high volume and the complexity of cases that we receive, and we process them in the order we receive them, it does take multiple years from start to finish.